Imagine waking up one day and realizing that the small, daily choices you made in your 20s and 30s are now shaping the health of your heart in your 60s and 70s. That might sound dramatic, but science tells us it is absolutely real. Today, we are diving into a powerful new perspective on exercise, blood pressure, and long-term heart health that could change the way you think about staying active. If you find this information valuable, take a moment right now to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you never miss research-backed insights that can help you live a longer, healthier life. Now, let's get into it. High blood pressure, also known as hypertension, is one of the most widespread and dangerous health conditions in the world. It affects billions of people globally and is often called the silent killer because it can exist for years without noticeable symptoms. During that time, it quietly damages blood vessels and organs, increasing the risk of heart attacks, strokes, kidney disease, and even dementia later in life. According to global health estimates, roughly 1 in 4 men and about 1 in 5 women live with high blood pressure. Even more concerning is the fact that many of these people don't even know they have it. That makes prevention not just important, but essential. For years, doctors and public health organizations have emphasized the importance of exercise in controlling blood pressure. We already know that physical activity helps the heart pump more efficiently, improves blood vessel flexibility, reduces stress hormones, and supports healthy weight management. But a large, long-term study published in 2021 added a new layer of insight that shifts the focus from short-term fitness goals to lifelong movement habits. The key takeaway is simple but powerful. Staying active early in life is not enough. To truly protect yourself against high blood pressure later on, you need to maintain higher levels of physical activity well into middle age and beyond. This research followed more than 5,100 adults across 4 major U.S. cities over a period of 3 decades. Participants underwent repeated health assessments, including detailed blood pressure measurements taken multiple times during each visit. They also completed questionnaires about their exercise habits, smoking behavior, and alcohol consumption. By tracking these individuals from young adulthood into later life, researchers were able to observe real patterns in how physical activity and blood pressure change over time. What they found was both eye-opening and concerning. Across nearly all groups, physical activity levels declined sharply between the ages of 18 and 40. At the same time, rates of hypertension steadily increased. In other words, as people became busier with careers, families, and responsibilities, they moved less, and their blood pressure suffered as a result. This pattern suggests that young adulthood and early middle age represent a critical window for intervention. If people can maintain higher activity levels during this stage of life, they may significantly reduce their risk of developing high blood pressure later on. One of the most striking findings of the study was related to how much exercise is actually needed. Current adult guidelines typically recommend about 150 minutes of moderate physical activity per week, which is roughly 2.5 hours. That could include brisk walking, cycling, swimming, or similar activities. However, this research suggests that meeting the minimum recommendation may not be enough for optimal blood pressure protection. Participants who performed around 5 hours of moderate exercise per week during early adulthood, which is double the current minimum guideline, experienced significantly lower rates of hypertension later in life. Even more impressive, those who managed to maintain these higher activity levels into their 60s saw the strongest protective effects. This indicates that consistency and volume both matter. It is not just about being active occasionally or for a short phase of life. It is about building a long-term habit of movement that carries through decades. The lead researchers emphasized that nearly half of the young adults in the study failed to meet even the minimum physical activity recommendations. This lack of activity was strongly associated with the development of high blood pressure over time. The implication is clear. Society may need to rethink what we consider enough exercise, especially during early adulthood when habits are formed and long-term health trajectories are shaped. Another important dimension of this study was the role of social and racial disparities. The data revealed that physical activity patterns and hypertension rates differed significantly between racial groups. Among white participants, activity levels tended to level off around age 40, meaning they stopped declining as sharply. However, among black participants, physical activity continued to decrease well into midlife. As a result, by age 45, black women in the study had higher rates of hypertension than white men. By age 60, between 80 and 90% of black men and women had high blood pressure, compared to about 70% of white men and roughly half of white women. These differences are not rooted in biology alone. Researchers point to broader social and economic factors that influence access to safe exercise spaces, free time, healthcare, and recreational opportunities. For example, young black men may be highly active in sports during adolescence, but as they enter adulthood, work demands, financial pressures, neighborhood environments, and family responsibilities can make it far more difficult to stay active. This highlights the importance of community-level solutions, not just individual motivation. So what does all of this mean for you as an individual watching this video? First, it means that exercise is not just about looking fit or hitting a short-term goal. It is a long-term investment in your cardiovascular system. Every walk, workout, or bike ride you do today is helping to preserve the health of your blood vessels decades from now. Second, it means that aiming higher than the bare minimum can make a real difference. If your schedule allows, try to gradually build toward 4 to 5 hours of moderate activity per week. This does not have to happen all at once. You can break it into manageable sessions. A brisk 40-minute walk each day, for example, already puts you close to that target. The key is consistency. Third, it means finding forms of movement that fit naturally into your lifestyle. Not everyone enjoys the gym, and that is perfectly fine. Physical activity can include dancing, hiking, gardening, playing with your kids, recreational sports, or even active commuting like walking or cycling to work. The goal is to keep your body moving regularly and sustainably. It is also important to acknowledge the real-life challenges that make staying active difficult. As people move from high school into college, the workforce, or parenthood, free time often becomes scarce. Energy levels may drop, and stress levels rise. This is exactly why the researchers stress the importance of building strong habits early and adapting them as life changes. Instead of viewing exercise as something extra you need to squeeze in, try to integrate it into your daily routine. Short activity breaks, walking meetings, or family-based activities can make a big difference over time. Another powerful takeaway from this research is that it is never too late to benefit from physical activity. While starting early offers the strongest protection, maintaining or even increasing your activity levels later in life still provides meaningful health benefits. Improved blood pressure control, better mobility, reduced stress, and enhanced quality of life are all linked to regular movement at any age. We should also remember that exercise works best as part of a broader, healthy lifestyle. Balanced nutrition, adequate sleep, stress management, and regular medical checkups all play a role in blood pressure control. However, among these factors, physical activity stands out as one of the most accessible and cost-effective interventions. You do not need expensive equipment or memberships to start. You simply need the decision to move more today than you did yesterday. From a public health perspective, this study sends a strong message to policymakers, educators, and employers. Creating environments that support physical activity is essential. This includes safe walking paths, accessible parks, community fitness programs, flexible work schedules, and wellness initiatives that encourage movement throughout the day. When people are supported by their environments, healthy choices become easier to maintain. Ultimately, the story here is not about fear, it is about empowerment. You are not powerless against high blood pressure. Your daily actions matter, and small, consistent efforts can add up to profound long-term benefits. Think of exercise as a form of preventive medicine that you administer to yourself, one step at a time. So the next time you consider skipping that walk or postponing that workout, remember that you are not just training your muscles, you are training your heart for the future. You are protecting your brain, your kidneys, and your overall vitality. You are shaping the version of yourself that will exist decades from now. If this video helped you understand the deeper connection between exercise and long-term blood pressure control, make sure to like it and share it with someone who could benefit from this information. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel for more science-based health insights that can help you make smarter lifestyle choices. Your future self will thank you for the steps you take today.